It frosts me to look back on the NeverTrumper Republicans and conservatives, and even never Trump Christians that voted for Biden and that supported Biden. And one of the ones I follow on Discord and YouTube, he's a gamer. You know, we all play video games here and there, but he's a self-described white conservative Christian male, blah blah blah. But living in Seattle, so you got to take that with a grain of salt. And he supported Biden 100%. And his reasoning was, Trump has mean tweets, and he's been married a few times, and blah blah blah. But never did he cite any sort of accomplishment that Trump has done. And as a Christian, like I immediately default, before we get to that, I immediately default to the unions that, unions, we got to throw our support behind Biden because blah, blah, blah. That's the way Democrats always do. And so the unions vote for Biden, and then Biden immediately starts shutting down union jobs, starting with the Keystone Pipeline, and who knows where it'll go with fracking and all that. And the unions are, what? How could he do this to us? What? I can't imagine. That's crazy talk. And it's a dementia. It's a total separation from reality of what you voted for, fully knowing, and these people voted off of their emotions rather than the actual policies, rather than results. Acting on emotions instead of logic, instead of results. So you've got that. And then you've got the band of so-called Christians that voted for Biden. Okay. And all of a sudden, in his first executive orders, Biden starts promoting abortion again and undoing the legislation or the executive action that Trump had done against abortion. And so now, what side of history are you on? Just because you didn't like the guy that was, rough around the edges, that was had a gruff personality, but had the best results. The guy that moved the embassy from, Tel Aviv to Jerusalem, the rightful capital of Israel, the guy that recognized Jerusalem as the rightful capital of Israel and supported Israel with every fiber of his being. You voted against that because it felt good? Let's look at the biblical standard. Look at what the Bible says about those who support Israel and those who come against it. Weird. Or just the pure economics of, what Trump did with his tax cuts. And that's the capitalist side of me speaking, but, tax cuts are essential. And it's clear that capitalism works if there's no cronyism in it. If you can get the cronyism out, and if you can give people more of their own money to spend. And yet, again, you've got so-called conservatives that voted against that because their emotions said, Biden was a more stable candidate, blah, blah, blah. He's not stable by any means. He's on his way out. Like, his brain is not functioning correctly. Not all there. And you got to wonder why they're trying to rush through so many executive orders in such a short amount of time. So if you consider yourself a conservative and a Christian above all else, you need to analyze what you exactly voted for besides just some guy that, was upsetting you because of his outbursts versus a guy that is literally doing the opposite of what you stand for. And that's the definition of, cutting off your nose to spite your face. So you made this bed, America. Time to sleep in it.